The first time he awakened his talent, he slapped the school beauty right in the face. That so-called prodigy girl had just awakened a top-tier 3S fire mage, causing the skies themselves to react. But when it was his turn, he awakened as a 3S forbidden caster, summoning a divine dragon from the heavens. Yet the entire class burst into laughter. Why? Because forbidden casters burn their own life force to cast spells. In everyone's eyes, it was nothing more than a glorified suicide class. But he just smirked, unbothered by their mockery. A short lifespan? What does that matter when he's literally unkillable? Right now, in the depths of Qing City's underground black market, the man entered an organ trade shop and said calmly, "I'm here to sell my remaining kidney and an eye." The owner stared at him. "Kid, are you serious? Over the past 6 months, you've already sold a kidney, your spleen, your gallbladder, some of your manhood, a third of your liver, and half your intestines. Sell any more, and you've got maybe 2 days left to live." The man lowered his eyes. "Doesn't matter. If it means saving my sick little sister, I'd give everything, even my life." So the dealer didn't hesitate. Blade up, blade down. Another useless organ gone. Minutes later, the man staggered out of the black market, weak and pale. He turned into a deserted alleyway, made sure he wasn't being followed, then activated his regeneration ability. His cornea instantly grew back. Even a freshly removed kidney returned in the blink of an eye. Looking at the wad of cash in his hand, he grinned. 3 grand. Added to the stash. Finally enough for the class transfer ceremony. As he tossed away the bloody bandages and ran off, he muttered with a smirk, "A dying sister? A terminally ill mom? And you idiots actually believe that? That man's name is Yilin, a transmigrator from another world, a full-blooded orphan. He never had any family to save in the first place. And the world he lives in, overrun by demons and beasts, filled with deadly dungeons and awakening systems. As an orphan, surviving was tough until he discovered his unique ability, accelerated regeneration. No matter how badly he was hurt, even missing limbs or organs, his body would fully recover within minutes. So he started cashing in on himself, selling his organs, then regenerating them, over and over again. Eventually, he scraped together 100,000, just enough to afford the class transfer ceremony. Because only through the ceremony could he awaken a proper ability. Only then could he become strong enough to survive in this brutal, monster-infested world and protect the things that mattered. And today was the day. His long-awaited class transfer had finally arrived. Just as he showed up, 3 girls whispered, "Huh? Yilin? Isn't he that broke guy? What's he doing here?" Yilin turned on the Oscar-worthy performance. "Teacher Wong, I had no choice. I took out a loan just to attend." The class gasped. If he ended up with a trash class, he'd be stuck working for life just to pay it off. Even the teacher looked worried, but still patted his shoulder. "Then give it your all, Yilin. Try to land a class with real potential." Soon, the class transfer ceremony officially began. The principal stepped up and called, "Next student, step forward." Up next was Gao Diyu from Class 5, a student from struggling family. Under the principal's guidance, he slowly placed his hand on the awakening stone. Moments later, the announcement came. Gao Diyu has awakened an A-rank life class, poultry breeder. The room instantly erupted in murmurs. Poultry breeder? Seriously? Bro's gonna spend the rest of his life raising ducks? The principal tried to smooth things over. "Don't be discouraged. There are no useless classes, only those who don't try." Then came the next candidate, a stunningly beautiful girl. The crowd broke into cheers. "It's Zhuge and I, my goddess." Even the principal looked hopeful. "Zhuge and I, give it your best." As soon as her hand touched the awakening stone, a blinding beam of light shot into the sky. A massive fire phoenix emerged from the blaze, soaring above the ceremony. The principal was stunned. An SSS tier fire mage. Huh, Qingchang Academy's name will finally rise again. The students in the crowd were speechless. Holy crap, an SSS fire mage. We're not even in the same league anymore. Yilin glanced at the scene, muttering, an SSS tier fire mage, that kind of power could crush entire armies. Lucky little girl. The principal stepped forward, his tone serious. This is huge for the academy. Zhuge and I will be arranging a special training program for you. Then it was Yilin's turn to step forward. Whispers rippled through the crowd. Wait, isn't that Yilin? The broke guy. Haven't you heard? He took out a class loan just to be here. Yilin smirked to himself. You think I'm just here to be your stepping stone? Think again. The moment has come. Will I stay weak and survive, or rise up and rewrite my fate? Let's find out. He placed both hands on the awakening stone. Suddenly, the sky roared. Thunder cracked and clouds split apart. A colossal lightning dragon descended from the heavens, roaring as it lunged toward Yilin. It crashed into his forehead and vanished inside him, engulfing his body in radiant divine light. A terrifying power exploded from within, shaking the ground beneath him. The entire arena froze. That level of energy, wait, is he awakening another SSS tier class? Yilin stood there blankly, still unsure what class he had awakened. Then the principal shouted with excitement, Yilin, you've awakened a battle class, SSS tier Forbidden Caster. Today, you bring honor to Qingcheng Academy. Tomorrow, we'll be proud to call you ours. But then, the principal froze. Wait, Forbidden Caster? Are you serious? That's an SSS tier, Death Curse class. The entire crowd exploded in laughter. Ha ha, a Forbidden Caster? Isn't that the class where you burn your life force to cast spells? No one with that class has ever lived past 25. It's a walking death sentence. Zhuge and I, who had been thinking of greeting her fellow SSS class peer, instantly lost interest and looked away. But Yilin didn't flinch. He stood silently, expressionless. The principal awkwardly stepped forward, trying to comfort him. Yilin, don't lose hope. It's better to burn bright and short than to fade away in mediocrity. Yilin turned on the performance again. Thank you, principal. Even if I only live to 25, I'll burn bright for this school. The principal, touched by his resolve, instantly offered, I'll personally create a custom training plan just for you. But inside, Yilin was smirking coldly. So what if Forbidden Casters die young? That had nothing to do with someone who literally can't die. As the ceremony ended, Yilin walked away like nothing happened, heading home to rest. Just another average student. For now, just as Yilin was leaving, he heard someone call out. It was Zhuge and I. She actually offered to team up with him. Forbidden Casters die faster the more they fight, she said. We're classmates. I don't want to see you die too soon. But Yilin refused without hesitation that he couldn't risk anyone getting close. He had too much to hide. Zhuge and I rolled our eyes and walked off. Suit yourself. Some people are just born to die early, I guess. Yilin found her attitude strange, but didn't dwell on it. He just kept heading home. That's when a group of students blocked his path. The leader sneered, Everyone knows Zhuge and I belongs to young Master G. You think awakening as a Forbidden Caster means you're some kind of big shot now. Yilin sighed inwardly. Women really do bring trouble. A few words from Zhuge and I, and now he had goons in his way. He calmly asked them to move aside, but G just laughed. How about this? You call me daddy, and I'll get you a job as a security guard at G Corp. Then you can use your paycheck to buy incense for your dead little orphan family. Yilin had no intention of responding at first. But that last line, it crossed the line. And now, they were going to pay for it. Yilin slowly raised his hand. You brought this on yourselves, he said coldly. G and his crew started to panic. Hey. Don't tell me you're going to cast a forbidden spell. You trying to die? Yilin pointed at them, fury in his voice. You can mock me all you want, but don't you dare speak ill of my dead family. Boom! A bolt of lightning crashed down between them, the shockwave nearly knocking them off their feet. G practically screamed. Yilin, are you insane? You used a forbidden spell. Yilin raised his hand again, lightning arcing at his fingertips. That was it. The bullies bolted in every direction, screaming. He's lost it. He's actually crazy. Run. Yilin snorted. TCH, pathetic. One strike, and they're already crying for mommy. But then a sharp pain twisted through his gut. Ugh, crap. I think my duodenum just melted. Watching from afar, Juga and I shook her head. What a reckless fool. Just a few insults, and he's ready to burn himself alive. Even without the forbidden class, this guy was never going far. Yilin, you don't even deserve to walk the same path as me. Later that evening, Yilin finally made it back to his rundown apartment. He opened his notes and began studying the forbidden spell costs. Let's see. Sacrificing a duodenum summons basic lightning. A bladder gets me ghost water thunder. And if I give up a heart, I can call the life-death purple bolt. He paused, beads of sweat forming. So if I want to summon the ultimate chaos god thunder, does that mean I'd straight up die on the spot? Back in his apartment, a wave of dizziness hit Yilin like a truck. Must be the side effect from regeneration, he muttered, then collapsed into bed. Meanwhile, Ji Lingyu stormed home and ranted to his father about being humiliated by lightning. Dad, you've got to help me. We need to end this Yilin guy. But his father stayed calm. Taking down an SSS tier forbidden caster is extremely risky, he said, especially one that's this unstable. He nearly killed you over a few insults. Besides, he's broke. And if there's one thing our G family has, it's money. You need to learn to use your strengths against your enemy's greatest weakness. The next day, at Qingcheng Academy's trial exam grounds, Yilin arrived yawning, eyes still groggy. Nearby, students whispered, "That's him. That's Yilin, the forbidden caster. He electrocuted Ji Lingyu during the ceremony." Just then, Ji Lingyu himself walked up with a big smile and breakfast in hand. "Morning. Haven't eaten yet, right? I brought this for you." Yilin raised an eyebrow. "What is this, plan B? Can't beat me, so now you're poisoning me?" Ji Lingyu waved his hands frantically. "No way. I'm being serious. You shocked me, literally, and woke me up. Thanks to you, I realized I've been wasting my life." Then, to everyone's shock, he dropped to one knee and bowed. "Yilin, I want to call you big bro." Yilin blinked. "Wait, did I hit you that hard? Are you okay in the head?" Ji Lingyu shook his head solemnly. "No, I'm serious. After getting struck, I reflected on my life. If I want to become better, I need to learn from someone stronger than me." Yilin shrugged. "Want to learn from me? Cool. But lessons ain't free, you know." Ji Lingyu lit up. "Sure. Just tell me how much." Yilin gave him a bank number. "Start with 2 million credits. That'll cover your first lesson." Ji Lingyu blinked. "T2 million? That's robbery." But after a pause, he nodded. "Fine. I'll pay." Moments later, the portal to the beginner dungeon rumbled open. The academy's entrance exam was officially underway. Elsewhere, the principal was casually bragging to his peers. "Ugh, I told them, low profile, okay? One SSS tier class is enough." But no, these kids just had to show off. 2 SSS awakenings in one batch? Give me a break. The other school heads were visibly annoyed. The principal grinned. "Why so quiet? Speechless? We're just salty." Red-faced, the others stood up. We've got urgent academy business. We'll take our leave now." Back in the trial arena, the instructor shouted, "All candidates, step into the portal. The trial begins now." Just before the trial began, Juga and I called out again. "Yilin, there's still time. Team up with me." Yilin gave her a calm glance. "No thanks," he said simply, then stepped into the portal without hesitation, vanishing into the light. Juga and I crossed our arms and scoffed. "Arrogant fool. If you're so eager to die, I'm not stopping you." At the same time, a beam of light fell from the sky. Yilin appeared inside the secret realm. He looked around and muttered, "Huh? No one else? Must be random spawn mode." Suddenly, a leopard cat burst from the bushes, fast and aggressive. Yilin smirked, lightning crackling in his palm. "Perfect. Let's test my forbidden spell." Boom. The bolt hit cleaned at UVE slain. Level 1 leopard cat. Gained 10 EXP. Yilin raised an eyebrow. 10 XP? That's it? I sacrificed a chunk of my intestine for this. At this rate, I need to kill 3,100 of these furballs just to hit level 2. Yeah, no thanks. Just then, Rustling echoed from deep in the jungle. A massive horde of wild beasts charged out, shaking the ground as they came. Yilin stopped in his tracks, turned around, and cracked a grin. Now that's more like it. Time to farm some real XP. Yilin smirked. All right then, let's use you guys to test out my newest forbidden spell. Forbidden spell, Burn Cycle. Activated, behind him, a giant burning skeletal phantom erupted into view, surrounded by blazing flames and dark aura. Power surged through his veins. Strength, speed, and mental force all doubled instantly. In this state, even a level 10 monster wouldn't survive his full force apocalyptic thunderstorm. Let's dance. Yilin shot forward like living lightning. He darted through the monster horde. Each strike a one-hit kill, enemies dropping like flies. 5 minutes later, he glanced at his hand. Wrinkled, aged, almost skeletal. Damn, just 5 minutes and I look ancient. If I want to keep my immortal body secret, I can't use this form for more than a minute at a time. Silently, he triggered Undying Rebirth. His aged skin smoothed out, vitality restored. Youth returned in seconds. Then came the bigger price. He sacrificed his entire left arm, slamming his right hand into the ground. Spell runes exploded outward across the terrain. The skies darkened. A massive storm vortex of lightning began forming above. Forbidden spell, apocalyptic thunderstorm bolts rained down like divine punishment. Monsters below were shredded like wheat in a reaper's field. One strike per corpse. No survivors. You have slain. Level 3 Frostfawn Wolf. Gained 30 EXP. You have slain. Level 5 Twin-Headed Serpent. Gained 50 EXP. You have slain. Level 6 Ironclad Scorpion. Gained 60 EXP. System notifications exploded in rapid succession. Ding. Congratulations. Level up. Current level. 3 new forbidden spell unlocked. Hellfire Incineration. Not long after, a figure arrived at the charred battlefield. It was Zhuge and I. She stared at the scorched land and roasted monster corpses, utterly stunned. What happened here? Everything's burned to ash. She crouched to examine the elemental residue. Her expression froze. This isn't just fire. It's hellfire. But that's impossible. I'm the only one in Qingcheng with a fire element class. How could someone else release power this strong? Just then, she spotted a flicker of firelight not far away. That's not natural. Someone's out there. And that fire, it's almost as strong as mine. She narrowed her eyes. Qingcheng's hiding a monster, and I'm going to find them. Meanwhile, on a quiet hilltop, Yilin was munching happily on grilled three-eyed boar meat. Man, this pork is divine. After that crazy combo, I burned like half my insides. I deserve this feast. Once full, he patted his stomach and stood up. All right, time to head deeper and grind more mobs. But just as he turned, a familiar voice rang out from behind. Yilin, you? What are you doing here? He spun around. Zhuge and I stood there, staring at him, eyes full of suspicion. Why are you here of all places? Yilin's mind raced. Ugh, her again. This woman's like a walking tracker. I can't let her figure out my secret. He forced a casual smile. Me? Just grilling up some snacks. You want a bite? But Zhuge and I scoffed, arms crossed. I told you, forbidden casters aren't meant to solo. Too late for regrets now. And don't even think about teaming up again that I'm busy, so stop following me. Yilin blinked. Lady, who's following who here? Is she delusional or just missing a few screws? Suddenly, Zhuge and I turned serious. Wait, one more thing. Have you seen anyone pass through here? Someone powerful. He's a fire type, possibly mastered hellfire. Yilin didn't miss a beat. Yes, saw him. Super handsome guy. Went that way. He pointed smoothly, no hesitation. Zhuge and I took off in that direction, searching high and low, but found absolutely nothing. As frustration crept in, a dark shadow swept over her head. She looked up. An 8th level dragonblood behemoth loomed above, wings wide, claws sparking. It crashed down with a roar. Zhuge and I narrowly rolled aside, dodging a lethal impact by inches. Gasping, she stared at the crater. What the hell? An 8th level beast. Here. This is suicide. I can't fight this thing alone. As Zhuge and I dodged another blow, she scowled. Where's Yulin? That coward probably bolted the moment trouble showed up. She flung several explosive phoenix flames at the monster. They struck, but only scorched its hide. Barely any damage. Worse, it was now pissed. The beast slammed its massive hands together and brought them down. Zhuge and I barely rolled away in time. Fine, let's end this, she screamed, unleashing her full power. A barrage of phoenix flames rained down like a fiery storm. But the beast let out a thunderous roar, a sonic wave that bounced the entire attack right back at her. Zhuge-Ni's eyes widened. What? It deflected them. She took the full force of her own spell and crashed to the ground like a rag doll. Covered in dirt and bruises, she struggled to her feet. I was too arrogant, an 8th level dragonblood behemoth in a beginner zone. This thing is impossible to beat. Am I really going to die here? How humiliating. Suddenly, a voice echoed through the battlefield. Hellfire incineration. Whoosh! A wave of searing crimson fire descended from above, engulfing the monster completely. In mere seconds, the beast was reduced to smoldering ash. Zhuge and I was stunned. That was hellfire? An 8th level dragonblood behemoth? One shot. Her gaze snapped toward the source of the flames. You saved me. I owe you my life. May I ask your name? A tall figure stood there, cloaked and masked, firelight flickering across his silhouette that a calm, deep voice replied. Call me Ling Yi. Ling as in dawn, Yi as in night. Zhuge and I felt her heart racing. Badump. Badump. That voice, that aura, was dangerously charming. Ling Yi, which school are you from? She called after him. You saved me, and I haven't even thanked you. Wait. But Yilin was already turning to leave. He simply raised a hand and said, No need. It was nothing, then walked straight into the shadows of the forest. Ling Yi, she called again, taking a step forward. He paused. Don't follow me, he said coldly. The beasts ahead are far beyond your level. He glanced back. Oh, and maybe cover yourself first. Zhuge and I blinked, then looked down. Her battle outfit had been scorched badly in the fight. Huge patches of her fair skin were exposed to the cold night air. She gasped, cheeks blazing, and immediately crouched down, trying to cover herself with what little remained of her clothes. By then, Ling Yi had already disappeared into the forest, his flame-wreathed silhouette swallowed by the night. Zhuge and I stared after him, clutching her chest. Ling Yi, wait for me. One day, I will catch up to you. I'll stand beside you, not as someone you saved, but as your equal. Her vow echoed into the silence. N01 replied. Deep within the forest, Yilin let out a long sigh of relief. Pulling off his mask, he muttered, Phew, that should keep that airhead girl off my back for a while. He opened his system panel to check his progress, and saw a newly unlocked forbidden spell. Undying soul sacrifice, 2.5 years of lifespan to become immune to one fatal attack. Yilin raised an eyebrow. Man, this forbidden caster class really is for the terminally ill. Every spell burns away my lifespan. But then he grinned. For me, though, this spell's basically a cheat code. One free death pass, even if someone stabs me in the heart from behind. I'll shrug it off like a mosquito bite. That means I can actually go all in with the craziest forbidden spells, even ones that sacrifice my heart or my head. This is beyond overpowered. With this, I can grind levels like a madman. No fear, no limits. From now on, nothing can stop me from rising to the top. On the 3rd day of the trial, its final day, the entrance to the secret realm was already packed. Principals, instructors, and anxious parents from all major academies had gathered early at the portal. Qingcheng High's principal, Mr. Gao, walked over with a bright grin. Well, good morning, old friends. You're all here early, I see. The others rolled their eyes. Here we go again. Ready to show off your 2 SSS class students, huh? Exactly. High-tier class doesn't always mean high level. One principal chuckled. Let's not forget, Qingqing's current highest trial record is level 11. No one's beaten it yet. That student was from your Yutsai Academy. Wasn't he, Principal Su? Su smiled modestly. Indeed. Wonder if this year's batch will break the record? Principal Gao snorted, puffing out his chest. Humph, we'll see soon enough. Just then, a calm voice rang out behind them. My, such spirited conversation among the heads of our city's finest schools. Would you mind if I joined in? The man wore a sleek overcoat and gold-rimmed glasses, his aura gentle and refined, smiling as though completely harmless. Mr. Zhuge, someone exclaimed. Please have a seat. An honor as always. Everyone greeted him with polite enthusiasm. Master Zhuge, the top astrologer in Qingcheng. What a pleasant surprise. Zhuge, Qingqing nodded politely. I'm just here to check on my daughter. And I. He added with a chuckle. Hope she hasn't caused you any trouble lately? Principal Gao laughed. Trouble? Not at all. Your daughter is the pride of Qingcheng High. Suddenly, someone shouted, Look, someone's coming out. All eyes turned toward the portal. Zhuge, Qingqing narrowed his eyes. Isn't it too early for anyone to return? Principal Gao looked confused. Could they be injured? Retreating early. The figure stepped fully into view. It was Zhuge and I. She waved and smiled at her father and Principal Gao, looking a little worn but safe. The other principals quickly gathered around, voices filled with surprise. Wait, isn't the trial still ongoing? Why'd you come out early? What's your current level? Zhuge and I gave a sly smile and confidently opened her status panel. Zhuge and I, Fire Mage, level 12. The crowd gasped, What? Level 12? She broke the record. That's insane. Qingqing's all-time record was level 11. She just smashed it. Zhuge and I, you really are the pride of the fire element. Zhuge Qingqing smiled fondly. And I too, impulsive again that if you stayed just a little longer, you might have reached level 13. Zhuge and I lowered her gaze a bit sheepish. It was just boring. It took forever to even find a level 10 beast, and the XP was laughable. Of course, she also came out early for another reason. To find someone. Lingyi. Meanwhile, deep in the dungeon, Yilin suddenly sneezed. It's not even cold. Someone must be talking behind my back. He arrived at the level 10 zone and found it completely empty. Did I clear the whole area? Guess it's time to expand the grind zone. He opened his system panel. Let's test my new forbidden spell, Dance of the Fleeting Shadow. Spell effect, sacrifice one organ. Based on its importance, gain a boost in agility, up to 10x for 1 hour. Yilin didn't hesitate. He sacrificed one of his kidneys. Power surge. Forbidden spell, Dance of the Fleeting Shadow, activated. 10 times agility? Even a level 50 assassin couldn't catch me now. With a light tap of his foot, his figure blurred, as if space itself warped. In a blink, he vanished, reappearing hundreds of meters away. With one step, Yilin vanished, reappearing a full kilometer away in the blink of an eye. Suddenly, he spotted 3 storm mantises slicing through the sky above. His eyes lit up, all mine. Without hesitation, he sacrificed his bladder. Raising his hand to the heavens, he roared, Forbidden spell, Apocalyptic Thunderstorm BOM. A massive bolt tore through the sky, disintegrating all 3 storm mantises into ash. Meanwhile, students began returning from the trial, stumbling out of the portal, exhausted, bloodied, and shaking. I made it out alive, barely. Too scary. Never again. Zhuge and I stood at the edge of the exit platform, scanning every face. Why hasn't Lingyi come out yet? On the field, instructors were guiding students back to their school groups. Final 5 minutes of the trial. One teacher called point 2 principals whispered to each other, clearly annoyed. Looks like Zhuge's taking this year's top record. That old fox from Qingcheng High really lucked out with 2 SSS class transfers. Wait, has their other SSS student not come out yet? One teacher checked their watch. Final countdown, 3 minutes. Zhuge and I frowned. No way. I've been here the whole time, but there's no way I missed him. Lingyi, where are you? Suddenly, a blinding light burst from the portal. Everyone turned. Zhuge Ni's heart skipped a beat. That's him. It has to be him.